University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go! Monday show, September 16, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, pound that like button. It helps YouTube push our content out to more people. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Wish you could say it's a good afternoon, but we will talk about what happened this weekend. Other than that, it's a good day. It's nice. Play a little golf with Pops, and they told me to tell both of you guys hello.
Hey, guys.
Pops, how you doing, my friend?
Stan, the man.
Shout out.
Love you, Stan.
Shout out, Stan. Tom Masway, good afternoon to you, my friend.
What up there, Rye? Hey, Bray. Kenny, welcome back from vacay. Hey, Pete.
Hey.
What's up, man?
KG is back with us. How about it?
Hey, I am.
Hey,
like I never left,
hey,
baby. I'm back and I'm better.
Missed you, buddy.
I
Missed
thought that
y'all.
was Silent Mike in the booth. I didn't know. I didn't know.
Stop the hate, man. Stop the hate.
KG, you have become such a part of the show that, I legitimately missed you last week. No, and Silent Mike did a great job, but
Appreciate
you're
that.
one of
Very
us,
quiet.
man.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Speak for yourself. I didn't miss it. He's a hater. You noticed there was no hate last week.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
wow.
No hate last
It
week.
was
No hate.
positive.
Hey,
People
Magic
arguing.
Mike, Silent Mike used to just look at me through the glass and just smile and
Yeah.
laugh. I like that.
Absolutely.
Wow.
This
Look
guy,
at- look
this
at
guy
this.
comes after me.
Here comes KZ with his takes.
That's what,
I
again,
did
that's part of the
miss you, though,
show.
KZ. We did
That's
miss
part
you,
of the
brother.
show.
Appreciate
hey,
that.
Maz, before I get to you, how about a shout out for Pete Spivak today?
Yeah.
Because on Friday, Pete Spivak, towards the end of the show, said exactly what was going to happen in the Detroit Tigers series. He said they were going to win Friday, they were going to lose Saturday, they're going to win on Sunday again. Pete Spivak, that is really difficult to do. You called that to a T. Good on you.
Thanks, buddy. Good to be with you guys today.
Let 'em
Unfortunately, bad football weekend, but good to be with you guys.
We
Let's
got to
do it up.
translate that magic into a bet.
Right.
We got to figure that out.
Well, we will get something for the Monday night crowd here. I'm actually going to do that while we're doing the show.
All
so
right,
we'll get it.
Braylon, if I may, okay, I'd like to turn the show over to Tom Masaway.
Okay.
Just let him get it over with.
Oh, God.
Okay, just let him get it over with.
Yeah.
He's been stewing and stewing and stewing and stewing.
Won't hear peep out of me.
Before we get going here, Tom Masaway, you have the floor, my friend.
My mic
Thank you, sir. If I wanted to do there wasn't a post-game show I wanted to do more than yesterday, but I was at Ford Field, thanks to Chad Johnson for the awesome seats.
How are the seats?
I'm in the front row, man,
Jinx.
in the end zone. Front row of the end zone. I'm not a jinx. We won the other game. that
They
I
made
was
it on
at.
TV, too, by the way.
Not on TV a lot. Nonetheless, I'm pissed, man. I was pissed all day yesterday at the game. I never saw a worse coach game in a long time. That was a terribly coached game by Ben Johnson and, of course, by the big honcho, Dan Campbell. And you guys know, I'll go over them real quick. 3rd and goal from the 2. They throw a pass out of bounds. Okay. I thought 2 David Montgomery runs would have been great. Okay, we're going to probably go for it here, give it to Montgomery. No, let's kick a field goal. That's not a Dan. I don't know what went through Dan Campbell's mind there. Okay, now they get the ball back. Let's fake a punt. Beautiful. 1st down. Let's go on 4th down, the next set of downs. 1st down. And then they go nowhere. And do they kick a 58-yard field goal? Try it with Jake Bates? No. They punt. Inside plus territory. They punt. And then how they end the first half. I don't know what the hell they were doing. First of all, I was talking to the guy next to me. It was awesome. Keith. Oh, shout out to Keith. And I'm like, why are they taking their sweet-ass time here? He's like, yeah, they did that last week too. I'm like, give me a little urgency. And they basically ran out of time. Guys were coming on the field to try to get a field goal, and then Jared Goff tried to spike the ball.
It was not a hurricane situation.
It was awful.
Yeah.
10-second runoff with 8 seconds to go means you get butt kiss. Then they get the ball back in the second half, go nowhere. And then the last 2 drives were absolutely horrendous. Where's Jared Goff throwing the ball? There's no time. He's throwing in the middle of the field. No timeouts. He's still throwing in the middle of the field. 4th down from the 25, and he's throwing to the 16-yard line. Not one pass in the end zone. So Ben Johnson, worst game call ever by him. Dan Campbell, I don't know what the hell happened to him yesterday. And the guy took the hit, and we'll go over that. But I'm telling you guys, Ben Johnson has been caught up to, okay? We didn't fool the Rams last week. We just outlasted them. And this week, the Buccaneers, minus 3 of their best players on defense, held the Lions to 16 points. And yes, the Lions shot themselves in the foot most of the day. And Jared Goff had his worst game, second worst game. The Ravens game was horrible last year. This game was his second worst game. Even though he threw the ball 55 times for 300 yards, there's no need for that. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets hurt. Where is Sam Laporta, guys? They threw one ball to him in the first half. They threw one ball to him in the second half. I don't get it. I'm cool now. It's off my chest. It's 1-1. People say, man, it's 1-1. Yeah, but it ain't 1-1 like last year. Last year when we lost to the Seahawks, they played their asses off. The defense just got toasted. This time the defense has been great the first 2 games, and the offense has sucked. So I don't know where to go from here. Jared Goff, I don't know where to go from here. I'm sorry.
Let me put some meat behind some of the things that you're saying. Now, first and foremost, Dan Campbell afterwards. If you haven't heard it, this is what he had to say afterwards, completely taking the blame for this one.
You know, I asked for improvement from last week, was the story. And we did improve. And their coach cost them. Their head coach cost them this one. So, critical error in the half. And 100% on me. We improved. There's areas we got to continue to improve on, but it's not okay.
All right, so Dan Campbell accepting the blame, taking the blame for this one. Obviously, so many people will point to, again, a lot of the things that you mentioned, Maz, but that first half gaffe at the end of the first half, that is, I don't want to say CYO, but that's probably high school team level. Like a high school team could have probably managed the clock a little bit better than Dan Campbell did. You've got to get 3 points there. Here's what he had to say at halftime.
There's nothing that is going to make any sense to anybody. There's no way to justify this. It's a massive error on my part, no one else's. And it was just between hurry-up field goal and clocking it. And it was 100% my fault, 100%. And that's why we have guys on the field, we're trying to clock it, and it's just, you know, it's one of those things we work over and over, and we're good. We've been good. We do everything, and then I mess it up. So.
Okay, again, the reason why that's so big, and again, you don't know how everything, the rest of the game will play out, but if you kick a field goal there, you only need a field goal at the end of the game to take the lead, not the touchdown. They're down 4 instead of down 1 or whatever the case may be. So, Braylon Edwards, you heard Tom Mazaway. What's your reaction to a 20-16 loss to the Buccaneers, I should say?
You know, it's funny. I've actually picked Tampa to win that game, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy, but I didn't want them to win, and I think there is some merit to what Tom Mazaway said. Let's just focus on Dan Campbell for a minute. He's an individual that we thought could have won or should have won or could have won Coach of the Year last year in the NFL. When you start to get in that category, when you start to get in that conversation, we start to hold you to a different light. This is one of the things that we've talked about this year. How is Dan Campbell going to be this year, take that next step as a head coach? Because we thought that he was joining those elites. So with that being said, there's no excuse for that at the end of the half. You know, we don't have to make a big deal about it and keep going on and on and on. But there is no excuse. There's no one. It's not one that you can make. It's not one you can brush off. Dan Campbell can't make that type of mistake in a moment like that where you're trying to put 3 on the board. And it wasn't necessarily a crazy time transparency. Like it was doable. It was perfectly doable. So the snafu, you can't have that. On offense, man, Ben Johnson has to have a conversation with himself. Look, stop overthinking. I understand I've been on teams where sometimes you have too many weapons and you're trying to figure out how to use them. You got Jameson now. And Jameson in game 1, he showed you what he was capable of. Amon-Ra St. Brown, we know what he is because we know what he got paid, so you want to get him involved. Dave Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, you take it as it goes. Pause, you just take it as it goes. You know, Jared Goff was exactly who he was in that game. He's that every game. Jared Goff is his best when Ben Johnson puts him in good situations to have success. You run the ball, you create the opportunity where they now think you're going to run. Now you set yourself up for the play action pass, which Jared Goff was number 1 in the NFL, but that's when he's comfortable, when he's play action passes, when the run is going, when you get Sam Laporta involved. So I'm not so much as Jared Goff and everybody's coming in here and $53 million for this, that, and the third. Jared Goff is the Jared Goff he was last year. Ben Johnson just has to put him in the position that he put him in last year. So I'm not going to be like most people and say this isn't a nothing burger, because it is something, but this is on Ben Johnson more than it is anybody else in my estimation.
Listen, they're like a kid in a candy store yesterday. Yeah. They saw Antoine Winfield Jr. down. They saw Vita Vea go down. They saw all of that. They're like, wow, we're going to throw 55 passes?
Yeah.
And it's not his game.
When's the last time they threw for 55 times in a game?
And won.
When you have Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery and even Sione Vaki on your team. Yeah. What the hell are you doing? And where did Monty go again? He disappeared again.
Yeah, my big thing with that is, look, there's situational football. There's times when you have to pass, and I understand that. But when you look at the option selection for the first half, Maz, they ran the ball 12 times. They passed 24 times. Mm-hmm. They ran 12, and they passed 24 when this is a running team. You're starting to see the offensive line be uncomfortable as well. This offensive line is built on being able to run the ball, run at the defenders, get the momentum going, and then from there they get comfortable in the passing game. That offensive line hasn't looked the same, but that's because we're not looking the same in terms of our identity, and that is running the ball with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
The Detroit Lions, quite simply, right now have no idea who they are. Yeah. And I am not freaking out to this loss. I am not freaking out. I have seen many a good team start the season slowly, and it appears that the Detroit Lions obviously have begun this season very slowly. I mean, you saw what happened to the LA Rams yesterday. They got trucked in Arizona. Mm-hmm. You know, you barely had to fight and claw to win that game.
They lost Cooper Kupp, too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The Chiefs struggled.
But again, that's kind of what I'm saying. So, like, the Rams don't look like this juggernaut of a team. That win doesn't look as great as it once was thought of. Yeah. Now, again, a win is a win in this league. Don't get me wrong about that. But I'm just talking about how the Lions look right now. And they look like they have no idea who they are. I am not freaking out about this. I think the Lions are a good team. I think they will figure it out. I think they're among the best teams in the league. They will figure this out. I believe that. However, right now, they have no idea who they are. You mentioned 55 passes to 25 runs in a one-score game all day. This wasn't a 3-touchdown game.
Right.
This was a one-score game all day. They have a fake punt at their own 20-yard line, but then they punt at midfield at Tampa's 48. They kick a field goal at the 3-yard line on 4th. Like, it's fine. It's totally fine. I'm good, but that's not who this team is.
No.
So I think a lot of this, and I heard Herm Edwards talk about this, the former coach of the New York Jets, ESPN personality. Herm Edwards was talking about the quality of play in the NFL through 2 weeks. Because if you look at just from a big picture view, if you just look at the overall quality through 2 weeks in the NFL, it's been bad. Mm-hmm. And the Lions are no different. And Herm Edwards was going nuts this morning talking about this is a product of the lack of play in the preseason. He said these guys have no idea about anything. He said football players get paid to play football, and nobody plays in the preseason. These first 2-3 weeks even, he extended it into the third week. He's like, it takes you that long to figure it out. And because nobody plays in the preseason anymore, this is why all of these teams are getting off to slow starts. It's a problem not only for players, but for coaches. He talked about coaches got to get into the flow of these things as well. And I do believe the Lions will figure it out. I'm not going to come out here and be, oh my God, they suck. Oh, the season's over. They just forgot how to play football. I'm not going to do that until next Monday when Arizona beats them. But I'll wait, okay? Yeah. But nonetheless, I think right now they have to go back, look in the mirror, and say, who are we? What do we want to be as a football team? And I also think, and this might be one of the most ridiculous things that that I have said, but it's fine. I almost think they have too many weapons and they're trying to make too many guys happy. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 19 targets yesterday. Okay? 55 passes, 19 targets.
And he paid for it. He's hurt.
He did. And again, thankfully, it doesn't appear to be anything that's long-term or serious, contusion, all that stuff. I almost believe that it was almost the easiest call to make this weekend to say the Lions are going to force feed Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
And
we all called that.
We all said the same thing. They're going to force feed Amon-Ra St. Brown. So in 55 passes, that's more than a third of balls. 19 of them went to Amon-Ra. And you know what? Nearly half of them were not completed. He had 11 catches yesterday on 19 targets.
It was a lot of bad passes.
Absolutely. And you know what? They were all over him. There was good coverage on Amon-Ra St. Brown. He could not get separation.
Nobody's open.
Again, it was almost like, we have to have this concerted effort to get Amon-Ra St. Brown the ball. What about, and you know what's going to happen? Next week, they're going to have a concerted effort to get Sam Laporta some looks. I mean, it's just the way that I feel it is when you have so many weapons and so much talent on the field. And I'm not complaining about that. What I'm saying is the coaching staff has to make a decision. Hey, look, check your ego at the door. We're going to run the offense. We're just going to play ball here, and whoever's open is going to get the ball. Period.
463 yards to 216. That's an abomination. How do you lose that game? How do you lose that game when Tampa really never threatened you? One big, long pass for a touchdown, the interference call, and that's it. That's all they had. They couldn't run. The defense played terrific. Terry and Arnold was getting a flag almost like anytime that kid touches you, he's going to get a flag because they're going after him. They're testing him. And I still trust him that he's going to do okay. But I don't know. How do you lose a game when you have 463 yards of offense to 216 yards for Tampa Bay? Baker was great. He did what he escaped. He was like a magician yesterday.
Yeah, he was like a magician yesterday. Look, defense played well. I think voting for the future, you like what the defense looked like out there. Even the secondary, look, Terry Arnold had another penalty, but it wasn't 3 penalties like he did the week before, and he's almost turned his body around. So I think he will eventually get there. I like what I saw out of Aiden, and we'll get to the night he had. And we said, that was one of the big things. He had to come up. He had to show up this game. But just going back to offense, Ryan, it is going to be a long season. That's why I picked 11-6. It's going to be a tough season. Some good teams out there, and they're only going to get better. The Lions are one of them. With that being said, I can't buy the excuse that they don't have an identity and it's okay. It's not okay that they don't have an identity because they have too many weapons. Because Ben Johnson, we've been giving him this term. See, this is what happens when you pass out the term genius. When you say genius and it becomes consistent, well, then I get to hold you to a genius category. I get to hold you to a genius level. And 2 games into the 2024 season, the Lions don't look like anything. They got progressively worse than they were last week. I know he had 300 yards passing, but it was about
garbage.
It was about the aesthetics of it. Thank you, volume, Tom Masway. Ben Johnson, this can't be the case, especially when it's so laid out for you. We know what it was in the running game. The running game was working. You go to the running game, you open it up for Jared Goff. I understand you want to force feed Amon-Ra St. Brown, you want to get him involved, and I understand that. But a good offensive coordinator who should be a head coach in this league right now, if he would have took one of the 2 or 3 jobs that he was up for, you got to know that you can't get the ball to Amon-Ra 19 times. You got to know at some point, maybe after the 8th pass, that, let's settle back in and figure these things out. So I'm not alert to the team aspects of what happened on Sunday. The Detroit Lions as a team will be okay, but I'm a little on edge watching 2 weeks in a row. Ben Johnson, who we keep calling this savant, this genius, he hasn't seemed to got it right. And there is one extra player, and that's Jamison Williams. That's not an excuse for this to look like this 2 weeks in a row. 2
interceptions. Yeah. The first interception was obvious interference on Tampa Bay. Right. They mugged Jamison Williams. Yep. The other one, somebody, and I think it was Tim Patrick, ran a wrong route because there was not a Lion within 10 yards of that pass. So 2 bad interceptions. One I'm not faulting Jared Goff on. Actually, probably both. Who the hell knows who was supposed to be where he threw that ball?
Yeah.
You know, for Ben Johnson, get back to what Bray said, though, it goes back to my belief that I think they will figure that out. I don't think that Ben Johnson forgot how to call a game. I don't think that Dan Campbell forgot how to coach football. I just think they're both rusty.
Yeah.
I think they're both rusty, and I think this is part of early season hiccups, major hiccups. I think they have what it takes to clean it up. I will also say this, and I think this is one of the things that I haven't heard a lot today from people. The Detroit Lions are getting everybody's best game, by the way.
Yeah.
They are absolutely sneaking up on nobody this year.
Tampa took it personal.
When you come into Ford Field, it's like coming into Michigan Stadium in the 90s. You know, I mean, you are going to get your opponent's best effort all week of practice. Think about how the Detroit Lions all season long, last year, trained and worked out and thought about the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going into Kansas City. We're gonna do what we got to do to beat Kansas City. Teams are looking at the Lions like this now. Teams are looking at the Lions as this is a measuring stick for our ball club to go into Detroit, which many people around the league now believe is the biggest and best home field advantage. If you can go into Detroit and win a game, if you could go to Ford Field and win a game there in front of those crazy fans, you got something to build on. And I think that is one of the things that so many people are kind of overlooking today. Detroit's got to strap it up because I'll tell you, Arizona, they look pretty damn good. They should be 2-0.
Yep.
Marvin Harrison was streaking for as good as Buffalo looked this week. Arizona went into Buffalo, should have won the game. Marvin Harrison was wide
Gave
open.
him hell,
Wide open to end the game and have Arizona walk it off. And Kyler Murray just missed him. And then they just trucked the Rams yesterday.
Yeah.
Just trucked them.
Mobile QB too. That's
So what I'm
something we have
saying,
problems
Bray,
with.
is if you are Detroit, you better strap it up. You better strap it up and get ready because this season starts on Sunday.
Yeah, too, and that's a slippery slope. You know, trying to use the excuse that everybody is going to give you the best. We knew that. Everybody's been giving Detroit their best for the better part of
Almost 2 years
after they beat the Chiefs last year. You realize that there's something to this Lions team. So everybody's been giving them their best. I lost my thought for a second, but everybody has been giving them best. But you knew that coming into the season. You were one of the teams that was predicted to be in the Super Bowl. So even though you're getting everybody's best now, you're still a better team. You're a team that's supposed to somehow find a way to win games. You're absolutely right. They got Tampa's best and they got the Rams' best. But oh, by the way, 1-8 on third down against the Rams and 2-7 on third down against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
1-7 in the red zone.
Yep.
1-7 in the red zone. Like, you're getting everybody's best, but you're playing your worst. At some point, you got to step up and realize, like, no. This is what we said we wanted to do. This is who we said we were. We said we were this Super Bowl team.
Yep.
You got to start playing like a Super Bowl team and find a way to win, because if Ben Johnson didn't somehow snap it on in overtime last week, the Lions are sitting at 0-2 to start the season.
Coin
and we're
toss,
having a much different conversation, so we're not that far from that. That's why I think you got to have serious conversations now. The Lions will evolve. I picked them to be 11-6. This is just one of those weeks on Monday. We got to talk about what seems to be not right.
Listen, don't say that I'm writing Jared Goff off, please. But I never saw him. He was out of it yesterday, completely out of it. He was all over the place. I never had any confidence in that offense, and that's a rarity, man. If you told me that the Lions would give up 200 yards to Tampa Bay, they would have won by at least 2 touchdowns. They could not get out of their own way yesterday. And again, the coaching was horrible. But Jared Goff was not even near his game. His game last year was, let me sit behind this line and just dice people up. Nobody's getting open, guys. They have found the NFL, they're not dumb. They look at the video. They look at the tape. And they're like, okay, we know how to shut this guy down. Last week, the Rams shut down Amon-Ra St. Brown. Shut him down. They shut down Sam Laporta. What do you think Tampa Bay's looking at? Of course, they're looking at that video. They played them. This is the third time. Remember I brought it up? It's hard to beat a team 3 times. They played them twice last year, and then they play them just 2 games after they beat them in the playoffs here in the new season. And Tampa Bay, they did just enough to get the win. And the refs didn't do them any favors either, to be honest with you. But could have been holding on a ton of these calls that they let go. And the Kansas City game, I haven't even gotten to that yet.
Yeah, no, man.
These refs suck.
Yeah, I saw a funny meme. I'll send it to you in the group chat.
Yeah, the red and white stripes.
Yeah,
I'll get it.
The game ball,
that's a
the
weekly
Patrick
meme.
Mahomes.
It is.
Right.
No,
That's
no,
a weekly meme.
Literally.
It's another one too. There's another one.
They
too.
don't want them to lose.
It's the league, though.
Yeah. No, it is the league, but
Goff sucked yesterday. Really bad.
No, 100%.
Really bad.
And that's a whole different conversation. I think fans need to understand. You can sit here and say that Goff had a bad day without saying you don't support Jared Goff. I don't think fans understand that the two can mutually coexist. Just look at the Lions. It's not going to get, like Ryan said, but it's not going to get easier because they got film on you. Like, this is one of the things I was focused on this year. What would Ben Johnson's offense look like? Because now people had a track record. They saw the things he did last year. Now, last year, he had some of the most, amazing plays in the NFL in terms of how he drew them up and how they played out. But now, good teams, not just teams. If you look at last year, Ryan and Monty, they played 3 teams and made the playoffs. Out of their wins, out of their teams they played, 3 teams made the playoffs that they played last year. This year, they have film, and you're playing better teams. You're playing teams. Rams were in the playoffs last year. You look at the Buccaneers were in the playoffs last year. These are real teams that have real film. Todd Bowles, one of the best defensive coordinators around, he was able to put together defense. Because remember, Antoine Winfield wasn't on that field yesterday. Neither was Kalijah Kansas.
And neither was Vita Vea.
After
And
the
that's
first
why
quarter.
that's why one of the big,
Run it.
in your mind, you're like, why wouldn't you just run it
Run
up the
Football,
middle?
yeah.
Like,
Ben Johnson overplayed his hand.
I'll never forgive him 3rd and 2 from the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
And not getting a touchdown.
I'll
I won't forgive him.
I'll never
That's the game.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Yeah, it's
2 runs. You're kicking a 20-yard field goal? Who is that?
that goes back to, KG. It just goes back to what I said earlier is the Detroit Lions right now have no idea who they are.
But I do disagree with that to a point. We do know what the identity of this football team is. You have the best offensive line in football. You're a run-first team that sets up the play action, which Jared Goff excels at. And they just kind of got away from that yesterday. And I felt like Ben Johnson really did Jared Goff a disservice, making him pass 55 times when it was a 1-score game the whole time and your QB is struggling. So they did run the ball, but you have to run it way more. And it's a tad bit of a concern. If they take the middle of the field away, I think Ben Johnson has trouble trying to scheme around that. So they do have to get better, but I would caution people, it is just week 2. Of course, they have to get it together, but overall, they dominated statistically the Buccaneers yesterday. Everything from stats to time of possession, everything was in the Lions' favor. They just didn't execute.
You know what sucks the most?
Yeah.
We're not even talking about Aiden Hutchinson's game.
Exactly. And the
4.5
defense,
sacks.
What a waste.
We will next.
The
We got a
defense is
2-hour
there,
show.
man.
What a waste.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, I agree with I forgot what I was going to say. I keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's like right when I be wanting to jump in, it's like and another thing.
Right.
And another thing.
Another thing.
Well,
Can't
how
catch
about
them all,
this?
man.
Did I tell you
Big
about
game.
that 3rd and 2 from the 2?
How about this?
Is Dan Campbell the same since? That's one question. Dan Campbell going for it, not going for it, not going for it. Didn't happen last year in the NFC Championship. Is that now a thing with him? In his
It might be. That and the Applebee's commercials.
It's kind of like Baker Mayfield now.
Guys, coming up,
Commercials.
we got to talk about Jared Goff. He had some things to say after the game. Also, you had mentioned Aiden Hutchinson. He was an absolute beast out there. I can't remember seeing a more dominant performance from the defensive side of the ball. I'm sure there has been. I just can't remember one that was as dominating a performance as I've seen in quite some time. So we'll talk about that. But first, a message from the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Michigan.
All right, guess I should have been paying attention. Join the best youth football league in Metro Detroit, the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan's 3C Sports League. Ages 5 to 14, get your kids off the couch and out the house. I'm talking about 5 to 14. Put the youth back into youth sports. Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. All coaches are trained, so you don't have to worry. The background checks, we do those as well, so your kids will be in good hands. Equipment, meals, and transportation included for all for a chance to play at Ford Field, home of the Detroit Lions. So do yourself a favor, man. Sign your kids up at bgcsm.org. So, Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential, and also fitness that fits into your budget. 50 metropolitan Detroit locations, 50 plus to be exact. That tells you that is the gym for you. Squeaky clean, check. No judgment, check. And a trainer with every membership. So, sounds like this is the gym for you. Planet Fitness, your fitness is essential.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go!
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola, really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody!
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Oh, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Any Lady Jane's haircuts for men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's haircuts for men, it's wicked awesome.
The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling a financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today, 248-290-8242. Visit them online as well, markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White right now, today, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true. And our good friend, Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. He joins Big D Energy every Tuesday to keep you up to date on all the injuries and how you can stay healthy as well. He joins us, of course, on Thursday. Trust the guy at DMAC and Braylon Trust. It's Dr. Jeff Pierce. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call him at 248-426-9944. Dr. Pierce.
Hey guys, I know Jared Goff, in so much of the Jared Goff conversation has been beaten like a dead horse or like a dead dog or something like that, but nonetheless.
They're eating the dogs.
Right, eating the dogs. I do want to talk Aiden Hutchinson, but before we do, if we can, here's what Jared Goff had to say after the game. He absolutely has to be better than he was. Now, I think the coaching staff needs to help him out.
Yeah.
Not have him throw 55 balls when you're only down by one score.
Yeah.
The whole
game.
There's that. But here's what Goff had to say afterwards.
At the top of the pyramid here, and when the guy at the top takes accountability like he has throughout his career, and even today, it makes it all easier for everyone else to take accountability when they're at fault. And I know he did take accountability for that, but we had plenty of opportunities to overcome that and make the plays to win the game. And I know he's going to be hard on himself, but as players, we got to be better. I got to be better. I got to pick him up. I got to pick up other guys. Other guys got to pick up me. That's how we win. And unfortunately, we couldn't overcome too many mistakes today.
I think one of the things for me too, in regards to Goff, is we expect players to make mistakes. You absolutely expect the players to make the mistakes out there. Maybe it's a fumble, maybe it's an interception, maybe it's a wrong route. Maybe I do think it's a little bit harder to accept when a coach makes a mistake. Mm-hmm. You expect those guys to be perfect, and in actuality, they're not. But it is what separates the good ones from the bad ones, because there's probably 4 or 5 times a game that you're really going to help your guys out. And I just think more often than not, so far, yesterday anyway, Dan Campbell didn't help his team out with, again, the decision to punt at midfield when you already called the fake punt once on the drive.
Field goal on the 2.
A field goal on the 3. And then Ben Johnson's got to help everybody out too. Like, this whole culture has been built on this offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And pounding.
Run first, yeah.
And it just didn't feel like that's the method of attack. So, again, it's surprising. It is a little bit more of a kind of a feeling of unsatisfactory, like just completely unsatisfactory when you do feel like it's the coaches that are screwing up a little bit. And I know the players are screwing up too, but you expect players to screw up. I don't expect coaches to screw up.
Yeah, look, sometimes coaches mess up, and sometimes it's good for everybody to see that. It's good for players to see that and say, hey, look, man, coach can't do everything. Sometimes as a player, you just expect coach to put you in the right situation and things to go right when you're a really good team with a good coach. Sometimes it doesn't happen like that. As players, you got to police yourself. You got to be making the plays. You got to be making the moves. And you got to be stepping up and saying, maybe we should go in a different direction. This is a different team. Like, even though it's the same team, a lot of the same players, the offensive line looks a little bit different. Mm-hmm. There's a different right guard starting this year. There's a different left guard starting this year. So it will take time. I'll take this time to back everybody off the ledge. It will happen. They will get in sync. Dan Campbell happened early on in the season. You know what they're trying to do, Maz? Whether it's Ben Johnson or whether it's Dan Campbell, or whether it's Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jared Goff, Dan Campbell's now called this elite coach. He's got commercials. Ben Johnson, he's the genius that's going to be up for a head coach. And Amon-Ra got paid. Jared Goff got paid. XYZ got paid. Just calm down. Go back to the same football you was playing last year. Smash my football. Yep. It looked good when guys were getting smashed at the line of scrimmage. That's how they win. They win in the physical, the grit, the villain. They just got to settle back into what they were. They got to remember who they were. They still have that. Just get back to that, man. Stop trying to put too much on yourself. Ben Johnson, you don't have to go out there and look like a genius every freaking time we play a game, or every call or every decision. Everything doesn't need to have that much intensity on it. Every play doesn't have to have that much pressure on it. It just doesn't. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what the Lions are doing on offense, at least. They're putting way too much pressure on themselves, whether it's Ben Johnson, whether it's the players, whether it's Jared Goff, who signed a new contract and wants to look like a new quarterback. You just got to take a second and breathe.
Listen, man, There's a loss against a playoff team, a team that you beat twice last year. I just hope it doesn't come back at the end of the year and it costs you playoff positioning. I'm not even going to talk about cost you a playoff spot. I'm costing you a playoff positioning.
Home game.
Yeah, home game. Lions are going to be a terrific team. I know they are. They have too much talent to not be. You just got to get back to basics. And Dan Campbell, you just got to be yourself. Don't be what everyone else wants you to be. Just be you. Stop thinking, like Bray said. Yeah. Just coach. Coach the way you coach. Players got your back, man. That offensive line is your best weapon. Use it. And Jared Goff, I hope you have better games ahead. And I hope you stay away from injuries. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been getting banged up. Spread the ball out. You don't need to give it to him 18 times. You don't need it.
Now to Aiden Hutchinson. It feels like such of a wasted opportunity for that defensive effort. I don't think I've seen as dominant a performance as we have seen Aiden Hutchinson put on yesterday on the Bucs. 4.5 sacks, 5 tackles, 1 forced fumble. Here's what what Dan Campbell had to say about Aiden Hutchinson's performance.
Well, once again, Hutch. I mean, his amount of growth. It goes without saying. His motor is unbelievable. I mean, this guy is, to be able to play at the rate that he plays at that intensity for that many snaps in a game is it's rare. And then on top of that, he's got talent, and he's continued to develop his different moves. I mean, he's got different moves now. He's developed, he's got the long arm, he's got the spin, he can dip and rip, he can chop, he can swat. And so if you ever get one-on-one, I mean, he's going to eat you up. I mean, more times than not. And I would say they held the ball a little bit more today than what we saw last week. I mean, these guys tried to push it a little bit more, 5-step. And early, I didn't feel like they were helping on some of the passes, whereas the game got later, they were not going to allow that anymore, and they chipped and nudged, and so he's having to try to beat double teams. But he's a force right now. He's a force.
We talked on Friday, too. We talked on Friday about, the pressures are nice, the hurries are nice, Braylon, but you got to put the quarterback on the ground, and boy, was that message received.
You can tell he took it serious. Now, this isn't the first time a conversation has been had about Aiden Hutchinson needing not to just get to the quarterback, but actually get him down, get sack, strip, fumble. You got drafted 2nd overall. Look, you're one of them guys. They're already starting to put you in there with the Watt family. They're already starting to put you there with the Bosa family. Hell, you're probably better than Joey Bosa is at this point. But now go out and do it. Don't give me the excuses. Don't give me this, that, and the third. And he went out there and did it, man. He saw that. He started the first series of the game. You and I were texting back and forth with Maz. Maz was paying us no attention because he was at the game enjoying it live. But, Ryan, this is what he said he had to do. And he went out there with a purpose. He went out there determined. And he showed you. He did different moves, too. He came inside.
Yes. Not just the spin.
100, not just the spin on a couple stunts. He came on the inside. They put him on the other side of the ball as well. So it was good to see from Aiden Hutchinson. And I know for him as well as his defense, for him it's like, okay, now we're back to the party. Now this feels like it did when I was in Ann Arbor a couple years ago. And now for the defense, especially that defensive line, we see what we have out there in the end. We're going to do our job because if he's getting to the quarterback, that means you're going to get some cheap interceptions. And that means that defensive interior, maybe you get some cheap ones as well. So everybody saw it. It looked real good because this is not a bad offensive line. And did you see when he went against Tristan Wirfs, you were waiting for it? He cooked Tristan Wirfs' ass, too, so.
He did.
Yeah, it was good, man.
Hey, Josh Pascal got a sack yesterday.
Hey, he did.
I had to take my hat off to him. I abused him on Friday. I said he was a throwaway as a pick. Number 93 showed out a little bit yesterday. Got in. So did Malcolm Rodriguez got in a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
They're playing everybody.
Except for when Baker hit him with that juke.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, can't make all the plays, man.
He juked me. I said, oh, Lord, there's his ACL.
Yeah. I think for Hutchinson, though, too, we talk about it a lot, man. I don't think you can understate how much it means to have not only NFL caliber talent right next to him, but upper echelon. DJ Reader was out there. Levi Onwuzurike played his tail off. Ali McNeil played his tail off. Davenport. I mean, Josh Pascal's getting to the quarterback. I mean, when you have capable defensive linemen, multiple capable defensive linemen, your studs are freed up. You know what I mean? And I think that's why Malcolm Rodriguez looked so good yesterday, too. Jack Campbell played a nice game yesterday. Why? Because that defensive line is legit. Yeah. I mean, to hold that team with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Baker Mayfield to 20 points.
216.
Come on.
Yards.
That's pretty damn good. That's a great day.
Yep.
You'd think they won that game by double digits if you're just looking at the stat line.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's so important to consider that when we look at these, when you have these, it's the way you feel about a player. Hutchinson got the quarterback to the ground when he had some help. Yeah. And he's able to be his athletic self when he doesn't have to take on triple teams and quadruple teams, for lack of a better way to say it, right?
Actually, when they scored that to Chris Godwin, I'm sorry, Bray, when they drove that one, he was on the sideline for like 6 or 7 straight plays. And I didn't know if he was hurt. We kind of looked on the sidelines. I didn't see him getting attended to or anything, but he had a stint where he was not in, and that's when Tampa drove and got that touchdown without Aiden Hutchinson on the field.
Yeah, they took advantage, rightfully so. You look at the defense, you look at the linebacker court being free and touch. This is what we were talking about last week. This is what, we illustrated to the crowd and to the fans listening and say, hey, look, DJ Reader being big up in the middle like that, he is legitimately paused. He's going to meet the offensive lineman attack, not allow them to get out on the block, and he's going to infiltrate the run lanes. Yeah. Now you got Malcolm Rodriguez, now you have Alexander Lloyd just free to jet to get to the play, and that's exactly what happened. But one credit you do have to give Maz, and this is because the defense played a real good game. Sometimes you play against a guy that's just a guy. And Baker Mayfield, he reminded us why he won the Heisman Trophy. He reminded us why he came in here and almost won the game last year. Some guys are just special. And Maz, you've said this all along. I got to give you credit. You never went away from Baker. When I laughed, I clowned you. Baker had 2 moments. He had both those runs back to back. Those runs were huge. Huge for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So sometimes guys are just special. This is the NFL, and they get paid too, rightfully so. Baker made 2 nice plays, and you can't take that away from him because outside of those plays, the defense did what they did. They held them underneath. They kept them in front of them. So sometimes you got to tip your cat, and I think Baker, I tip my cat to him.
Speaking of Baker Mayfield, he was on the field after the game. This is from the Fox broadcast. And just think about the Baker that you knew in Cleveland, doing all those commercials, and then listen to this Baker and tell me if you think this guy has matured at all.
All right, Baker Mayfield. Dan Campbell told us this week he wanted to put this game on Baker Mayfield's shoulders. So I want to see how your shoulders are feeling and how that challenge was accepted by you.
It's never an individual effort. It's not. I can't say enough about our defense. That is not an easy team to play against. And them, they're going for it, fake punts, going for it on a 4th down. Our defense holding up in the end right there, that's not easy. So I can't say enough about those guys. You know what? Honestly, not horrible clock management on my part in that last drive right there. Got to make them take a timeout to where they can't have an extra one. So it's always good to learn lessons when you win. But we can be better on offense, but this is a tough game, tough environment, and I'm so proud of our guys the way we hung in there.
Let me ask you, as you're learning these lessons, it's why Todd Bowles said we don't know who we are just yet. Yeah. So after a great win last week that was relatively easy, and now this tough one, what have you learned about this team with 2-0?
It's a resilient group. Everybody trusts each other, and that's the biggest part. There's a lot of trust within this group, and that goes a long way in tight ball games like this. So, like I said, I can't say enough about this group. I'm so proud of them.
Congratulations. Thanks, Baker.
Thank you.
Sounds like a grown-up, doesn't he?
He does, man. And you know what? Therapy works. I saw this interview, but then I saw something he did before this game, Ryan. He talked about he's been seeing a therapist since he left Los Angeles. He said he never knew what talking could do. He said he was always trying to be something he wasn't down there in Cleveland, and then it got to him fighting the team and fighting other players and fighting the media and fighting the fans and everything. And he said he lost himself. So he says he talks, goes to the therapist. He's more open. He loves his team. Very rarely does somebody fall off your radar. You say, you know what, you like a guy and then you just don't like a guy anymore. Man, never does a guy come back where you're like, you know what, I like this guy again. I like Baker when he was at Oklahoma. Yeah. You know what he did against Ohio State, so I had nothing but the utmost respect for that. He got to Cleveland, I don't like this guy Baker anymore. I'm like, wrote him off, came back, got paid.
Won
It's
a
a whole
playoff
different
game,
guy,
though.
mature guy, and won a playoff game. I can't do nothing but show love. I was wrong on Baker Mayfield, man. I think I like him again.
I love him, and there's a part of me that wishes he was a Detroit Lion.
Here we go. I knew it was coming.
Hey, listen to me.
Here it comes.
I asked for him years ago. I'm like,
did.
he'd be a great Lion. He'd be a great Dan Campbell guy.
You did.
Talk about a Dan Campbell guy. Is this not a Dan Campbell guy? He's a terrific quarterback. And they're going to win the division.
You take Jared Goff.
I don't know.
They're going to win the division.
I don't know if they're going to win their division.
The Saints look different.
I've never seen the greatest offense ever created.
They do look good. They're averaging 40 a game.
Derek Carr is back.
They have
Derek
not.
Carr is back.
They have scored a touchdown through 2 games on every single possession that Derek Carr has been their quarterback.
Makes no sense.
Now, can I say something?
They scored the first 6 times last week and the first 6 times this week.
Who was in camp with them off season?
Gruden.
Chucky.
Yeah.
Gruden.
John Gruden. Yep.
It was Gruden.
John Gruden. John Gruden was in camp with them. Boy.
Yeah.
John Gruden.
Like,
Yeah. Dennis Allen needed all the help he could get.
Hold on, here's one. Their touchdown drives, you ready for the length on those? 80, 79, 79, 70, 24, and 69.
Wow.
Man.
Those were their touchdown drives yesterday.
They just maul. We'll get to that
What?
coming up in just a little bit. I want to stick with the Lions for a second. Here's Aiden Hutchinson. This is what Aiden Hutchinson had to say after the game. Is there ever such a thing as a good loss, a loss to motivate, a loss that is good for you? Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, it sucks, but I was just talking to some guys. I think this is going to be really good for us. You know, we had an early loss last year too, and you know, I remember we lost to Seattle, and everybody thought we sucked again. You know, and so it was. I think we're going to keep this one in perspective, and you know, if we're going to be struggling a little bit as a team, I'd rather we struggle early rather than late, and we're going to, you know, the plan is to catch fire as we get through the season, and then, you know, then we go from there.
That was the only thing about that one I'd say maybe not so much, because last year when they lost to Seattle, it was more so still don't necessarily have the defensive pieces, but we were confident what our offense was. We was like, no, this offense is fine. You know, play here or play there, but it was the defense we didn't like. This year, the defense is fine, but it's the offense that we're like, all right, come on now. Here comes week 3. What are you going to look like? So, and to his point, they figured it out. They got it figured out along the way. But it's just, this has been the strength. And I think that's what's confusing Lions fans. That's what's confusing some of us on the desk. This was the strength, the offensive line, running the ball, and the offensive side of the ball. Now the strength is the defense. A little bit confusing. Yeah. Week 2 in the NFL.
Just going back to something you said, Maz, earlier in the show, it does feel a little bit different. Like last year, they beat Kansas City. It was a great, exhilarating win. And then you come back to Ford Field, and you really played your tail off. The defense got cooked.
They had that game. They gave it up.
Yeah, but
a lot of injuries that game.
Absolutely. That was the CJ-GJ game. And
bad coaching
James
at the
Houston.
end.
Absolutely. So it feels a little bit different. That's not to say that they can't get this thing back. And again, go back and look at some of these teams here who you always see at the end of the season. There. Remember when Aaron Rodgers, the famous relax, 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 everybody. But I mean, it just goes to show you that really good teams do struggle early. And again, I think the Lions will figure this out. And I think it's much more enticing radio or digital, whatever we are, YouTube show. I think it's way more exciting to be like, you know what? Yeah, the Lions suck, and Dan Campbell sucks, and Jared Goff sucks, and oh my God, the sky's falling, and they're gonna get trucked against Arizona this week, and all this stuff. And I know it's not that exciting to sit here and try to be reasonable, because there's no such thing. But I am going to sit here and try to be reasonable because it's how I feel. I'm not gonna try to shove something down your throat. Pause. That is not intended. To be like that. It's just not who I am in my nature. I have to believe it if I'm going to say it, and I do believe the Detroit Lions are going to be just fine. Nothing changes for me. Yeah. No prediction, no season goal. Maybe I come off the 13 wins a little bit, but I still believe NFC Championship. I still believe Super Bowl. Nothing is shaking me from that at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is nobody's going undefeated. You know, if you look at the power ranking scales before the season started, they would have told you Chiefs were 1, Lions were 2 or 3, then there was the 49ers, and then there was the Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens. Well, newsflash, the Ravens lost yesterday. They're 0-2. Like, the Chiefs were a kick away from losing in week 2 to the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, 100% what you call. We'll get to that. And you look at the Eagles. What are they going to do? The Lions lost. Your teams lose. Nobody's going undefeated. It is a long season, so you will have time to figure it out. This is just Monday. This is when we come here. This is when we decompress the game. And in decompressing, you just don't like what you see out of the offense. But that's okay because we got 5 days before.
J-Mo looks great, though.
Yeah, he does.
They were trying to force him the ball too early.
On, you saw
I like that. I like that. Keep getting him the ball. When he gets the ball in his hands, good things happen, man. It just does.
Sometimes. Go ahead. Ryan.
I was just going to say he looks great. He looks great. And again, it feels like, with Ben Johnson, it feels like, again, concerted effort to try to get individuals the ball instead of letting the offense come to you, instead of like just calling the game. You're trying to get J-Mo deep shots. You're trying to get Amon-Ra involved in the game. And again, next week it feels like a game where you're going to be trying to get Sam Laporta involved. Oh, we got to check down to Sam Laporta,
especially in the red zone. Especially in the red zone.
I mean, he's going to get 2 or 3 touchdowns next week, Laporta.
Remember last year, Game 3 was against Atlanta, and he owned that game. Owned that game. That was the Sam Laporta game. So maybe you're right.
Maybe I am.
It takes time, when you implement new weapons. And I know I always go back to certain teams, but I remember when I was with the Jets in 2010 and we added Santonio Holmes to the offense. It took Brian Schottenheimer a while before he knew what to do. It took him a while to realize what he wanted to do with LaDainian and how he wanted to run Sean Green, who was our bruiser back. We had Dustin Keller out of Purdue, who was a really good pass receiving tight end. Had myself, had Brad Smith played kind of like the X-Man role. He would take direct snaps. He would do the reverse stuff. Had a lot, and then Santonio had a lot of weapons. It took him 3-4 games to really get it going and really understand how to use it. So, like you said, take pause for concern, but
all right. Yep, absolutely. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll go around the NFL. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Premier Pet Supply.
All right, guys. It is Michigan's best pet store. Family-owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available. And, of course, they got curbside delivery if you need it and nutritionists on call. Give your pet the best. Don't settle for less. It's PremierPetSupply.com. And I want to tell you a little bit about our friends, the Salvation Army. Have you ever thought about volunteering, but you don't know where to start? Well, start with the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. Those interested can visit registertouring.com to sign up for shifts. If you have an option there to choose a traditional 2-hour session at a physical Red Kettle site, or you can be a virtual bell ringer, where they can raise funds in the comforts of your own home. Virtual bell ringers could sign up, begin raising funds at any time. And the traditional people, the ones that are outside of stores, they start on Friday, November 7th. Runs through Christmas Eve, excluding Thanksgiving and Sundays. To sign up for volunteer shifts, visit registertouring.com. That's registertouring.com. The Salvation Army.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
all the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Hey gang, let me tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. They offer the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. Located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Together, let's drive.
And you can drive on over to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back, relax. Let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. You could walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
You know what else is wicked awesome? Is Caesars Sportsbook. What if
right.
I told you that you can place up to $1,000, and if you lose, you get that money right back? You
Say
know,
what?
that's crazy, right? But that's not the case with Caesars Sportsbook. Scan this QR code, enter the code Woodward 1000, all caps, Woodward 1000. That's your passcode. And if the bet doesn't hit, you get the deposit back up to $1,000. I don't think that's that bad, right? That's right, up to $1,000 back just for giving a minimum $20 to download. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. Make sure you use code Woodward 1000.
Hey, while we're talking about Caesars here, we got to get this out of the way. You ready for our how we did last week on the Friday picks?
Oh boy!
All right, I was 3-3.
Okay.
I improved to 4-8 on the year.
Okay.
You were 3-3. You improved to 5-7 on the year.
Okay.
Maz was 4-2. He improves to 5-7 on the year. Pete Spivak. Pete. 1-5.
Damn. Let Pete cook, man. Let him cook.
2-10 is the great Pete Spivak and KG.
Y'all downplayed me last week too. I told Maz that before the show. Y'all downplayed my 4-2 week, but go ahead.
3-3.
Yeah.
You are 7-5.
I'll take it.
You have a 2-game lead over Maz and Bray.
I'll take it.
And yeah,
Long season.
It is.
Long season.
I'm hanging in there.
I'm gonna win.
Yeah. Maz, all that talk about I bet $1. Yep. And I got on the stage too.
That's right.
Amazing.
I'm up here with Drew.
All right. Anyway, gentlemen, let's go around the NFL. You take a look at some of the scores this weekend, and we have briefly touched on it. I don't think there was a more impressive win this weekend than the one the New Orleans Saints had on the road at Dallas. Dallas had won 16 straight regular season games at the Jerry Dome, where they scored an average of over 40 points a game, Braylon. What in the world do you see when you watch the Saints play football? 47 points week 1, 44 points week 2. They have scored on 6 possessions last week, 6 straight possessions this week, and completely embarrassed the Dallas Cowboys in Big D.
I see a quarterback that's having fun, has found himself again. You talk about Chucky, a.k.a. John Gruden, being there in the offseason with the Saints, working with that offensive scheme that they're doing. Derek Carr is just in rhythm. Every throw seems to be right where it's supposed to be. Every drop back seems to be the right amount of steps. Every hit seems to be the right amount of hits. And also, There was a guy that lit the league up, 4 or 5 years ago. He came into this league like a terror, one of the best second-round draft picks of all time, and that's Alvin Kamara.
Yes.
Where's Alvin Kamara been the last 2 years? I tell you where he's been these first 2 games of the season. He's been out in front. 5 touchdowns, leads the NFL right now. They just seem to find ways to get him the ball. Rashid Shaheed, you see him down the field. Like in Chris Olave, wide receiver out of Ohio State. This offense, they go down and do this in Big D. You know, it's funny. I only say Big D when they lose.
You're right.
They went down to Dallas and got and operated just as they did when they were in the dome. We talked about this going into this week. Maybe, I don't know. It was the team you played. No, this Saints team is legit, Ryan, and this Saints team is for real. Dallas, on the other hand,
textbook Dallas loss.
But you know what happens with Dallas? Dallas is a team that is made to play ahead. Whenever they get behind, that's when you see Dak struggle. Dak's not the quarterback that's going to beat you. That's when the interceptions come. That's when the turnovers come. And then on defense, they can't get to the quarterback because they're running the ball. Whenever you run the ball on the Cowboys, now you don't have guys with their ears pinned back going after the quarterback.
Let me ask you guys this question, KG.
Yeah.
Was this game more about the Saints or more about the Cowboys? Did you learn more about the Saints or did you learn more about the Cowboys?
That's easy. Definitely the Saints, because where has this been all this time? I mean, Dennis Allen, I've been very critical of him. The way the offense looked, Derek Carr looked like he was a shell of himself last year, and it didn't look like they really had any answers. Of course, Chris Olave being a good receiver, and Alvin Kamara, like you said, has been a no-show. But they seem to have gotten this program together. They already had a solid defense, so they could maybe sneak out of the NFC South, man, especially what the Falcons look like they looked last week. We'll see what they'll do tonight, but I don't know, man. The Saints have woken up.
Yeah, they've woken up with Clint Kubiak, the new offensive coordinator, came over. He was the quarterback's coach at San Francisco the last couple of years, and what a job he's done with Brock Purdy and the San Francisco offense, and now he brings that whole game plan over here to the New Orleans Saints. You want to know, Kenny G, where they came from? There's where they came from. Clint Kubiak really has these guys humming, and he's running the San Fran 49ers offensive game plan over there and doing very well.
And, again, same guy that got a hold of Sam Darnold as well.
Yeah.
And you look at what Sam Darnold did yesterday against his former team in the San Francisco 49ers. The Minnesota Vikings guys look tremendous. They beat San Francisco yesterday 23-17. Justin Jefferson, 4 catches, 133 yards, and a touchdown. One of those touchdown passes was a 97-yard touchdown pass where Sam Darnold, from halfway through his end zone, threw it beyond the 50-yard line, where Jefferson was wide open and did the rest from there.
Must be nice.
But Sam Darnold, Braylon, and again, we talk about, and it's with Baker Mayfield. And while you're at it, while we're talking about Baker and Darnold, put up do you have the graphic? This is Darnold and Baker in Carolina. 22 touchdowns, 19 interceptions combined. Darnold and Baker after leaving Carolina, 46 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Bryce Young gets benched today. Andy Dalton will start. But you talk about those 3 quarterbacks, and you mentioned Clint Kubiak and the work that he did in San Francisco. This is all about quarterback play in situations. Whether it was Sam Darnold, Braylon, when he was young, playing for the Jets, where he was seeing ghosts out there. He said the big Monday night thing. Then going to San Francisco, getting to take a step back with offensive geniuses, to be quite frank with you, and now getting an opportunity in Minnesota. It's just proof that it's not when you go, it's where you go that makes all the difference.
Yeah, I agree. It's all about where you go. You look at him under Kevin O'Connell, who coached under Sean McVay, who coached under Kyle Shanahan. It's no wonder why they chose Sam Darnold. We talked about this, Ryan, you and I, in the offseason. We had said the same thing because I think we saw the same thing. Sam Darnold was a guy that was liked by Sean McVay. Sam Darnold's also a guy that was liked by Kyle Shanahan. He was a quarterback that had some mobility to him and a guy that could throw the ball. Just hadn't been in the right system yet. Well, Kevin O'Connell went and put him in a system that all those coaches understand. So you're having that success. It doesn't hurt when you have the weapons that you have at your disposal. And Justin Jefferson being one of the most magnificent weapons in the NFL. It might be hurt. We'll get more on that. But it looks good, man. When you're able to take your time, he has an offensive line that's gotten better. That's what they were hoping for J.J. McCarthy, but Sam Darnold definitely looks the part there in Minnesota. And the Detroit Lions, as well as the Green Bay Packers, as well as the Chicago Bears, I think they're on notice.
But how long can the Vikings really last? I mean, of course they're doing good right now, but you don't think they can really sustain this type of production, especially offensively, can you?
They beat the San Francisco 49ers, so I mean, however you want to say, can they sustain? Like, they beat the best team or the second best team in the NFL on many people's performance scale. And they beat them mano a mano. They beat them man up. They didn't beat them with gimmicks. They didn't beat them on the last second. It wasn't the refs that gave them to them. They went and they beat the San Francisco 49ers. So I think you gotta show some love to that. To your point, it is early on in the season and maybe they falter. But right now, I think you gotta say it for what you saw. They beat a damn good team in the 49ers. So you got to take it for what it's worth.
And again, you look at the 49ers on the road yesterday, 17 points. I know no Christian McCaffrey, but that's a team that has George Kittle. That's a team that has Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and Brock Purdy.
Jordan Mason.
The running back had 147 last year.
Absolutely.
Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason. And again, that looked like a team that's out of sync. Not really figuring out what they want to be yet. And we know who they are, right? I mean, they have one of the most successful schemes that you could possibly have in the NFL, but they just, again, it feels like preseason to so many of these teams that aren't ready to get it going yet. Back to the scoreboard now. One of the games yesterday that was just atrocious was Carolina. While we're talking about quarterback play, Carolina is as bad a football team as I think I've seen in the NFL in my adult life. I can't think of a worse team and worse talent and just uglier football than the Carolina Panthers. And they lose to the Chargers yesterday. Jim Harbaugh now 2-0, 26-3. The Chargers beat them. Bryce Young, at one point, it almost appeared that he was crying yesterday after another turnover. 18 of 26 for 84 yards, 3.2 yards per pass, and an interception. He was sacked twice. Braylon, Bryce Young benched today. The Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, going to get the start at Vegas next week.
Look, as you should. As you watch Bryce Young, look, this is a quarterback I was high on. Look, I thought Bryce was going to come here. I thought he was going to tear it up. I liked him in Alabama. I believe he was a quarterback that got things done in Alabama. I don't think it was just the talent around him. I thought it was him. You watch him over these last couple of years. Each year, he hasn't taken the steps, and they're still a bad football team, so there's not a ton of great talent around him, including the offensive line. But it just doesn't seem like he's fit in this particular system to have some type of success. He seems nervous. He seems like he's second-guessing himself on almost every play. He's running before he has to, and then when he's not running before he has to, he's running because he has to. So I think you have to make this move. Bryce Young is a guy, you drafted him first, but that doesn't mean because you drafted him first, you just keep losing with the quarterback. You just keep going backwards. I think Andy Dalton, in this instance right now, he gives you a better chance. How many times are we going to watch Bryce Young just not look? It almost sounds bad. It's just like he doesn't look like he's old enough or weighs enough. Like he looks like a kid out there playing with men. And I think you got it. If I'm an offensive player, I want Andy Dalton out there. I think he gives the best chance.
But can't you can't help but think that maybe if he went to a different situation that wasn't the Carolina Panthers, maybe he'd be playing better. Because to me, the Panthers, it starts at the top. David Tepper, worst owner in sports, period. He forced that pick, the Bryce Young pick. They wanted to go C.J. Stroud. They end up picking Bryce Young. And just him jawing with the fans. There's been a lot of just bad will with David Tepper and the Panthers organization. You don't think that if he went somewhere else, maybe it'd be different?
But I don't think
it's an excellent question.
This is a great question, but the question wasn't whether he still can play or not. It's whether he can play in this system right now for the Carolina Panthers.
That's true, yeah.
And he just doesn't look like the guy for the Panthers. You're absolutely right on the owner. Wanted C.J. Stroud. They took Bryce Young. He thumbed his nose at him. Frank Reich that was when he was down there. They got the wrong quarterback. We know that. But now this is the mess that we're in. And Bryce Young, for this particular mess, just does not seem like the guy. They need to get Andy Dalton, maybe a seasoned vet. He'll know how to get rid of the ball a little faster, and they'll start to run the ball because this team doesn't look predicated to win with the pass. So maybe he has success somewhere else. Look with Baker Mayfield. He's living proof. Jared Goff is living proof. Sam Darnold is living proof from a guy that didn't make the playoffs. But maybe it'll work somewhere else. But right now, it ain't working in Charlotte.
Yeah.
How about the team that beat him yesterday? Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, and the San Diego Chargers.
Man.
The Los Angeles Los Angeles Chargers 2-0 on the short season here, 26-3. How about Jesse Minter's defense? How about Jim Harbaugh 2-0? And how about Justin Herbert throwing just 20 passes? You just
it's Jim Harbaugh football right there.
Imposing your will on programs. That's exactly what Jim Harbaugh is doing. Jim Harbaugh has imposed his will on this program. J.K. Dobbins, 17 carries, 131 yards, a touchdown. He looks like he's just one of the best backs in the league. I mean, it looks absolutely tremendous.
Always like J.K. Dobbins, and apparently so did Harbaugh after J.K. Dobbins destroyed Michigan all those years. But, guys, and we talked about this, head coaches that come into the NFL from college, they tend to have a jump on current head coaches because they know the college players. They know the talent. They've coached against them. They've tried to recruit them. So you see in J.K. Dobbins, they brought him on the squad. He goes and signs Joe Alt. You put Joe Alt on the opposite side of Rashawn Slater. Now you got an offensive line that can block. Now you have an identity. He's going to run that ball. If you would have told Justin Herbert, or if you would have told me Justin Herbert would only have 20 passes
attempts,
and they would win, I would have told you were crazy before the season started. But this is what Harbaugh wants to do. And Justin Herbert, he's liking to win. Because I guarantee you, one thing about Herbert, who won a Rose Bowl, he doesn't care about all those flashy stats in 5,000 when you're taking all these L's, especially like the one they took to the Jaguars and coming back in the playoffs. So I guarantee he's on board. 2-0 for the first time in his career.
Quentin Johnson as well, wide receiver from TCU, rookie. He had a Mike Evans stat line from a week ago. 5 catches, 2 of them were touchdowns, 51 yards. You know what I mean?
Like, oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Big
good
player
stuff.
in the red zone.
Absolutely. Now, the game of the day was the 425 game. That was an excellent game. Kansas City.
We've seen that movie before.
We have, and it's so brutal. And I'm watching this thing. Cincinnati absolutely deserved to win the game. Cincinnati gets robbed. I think the refs blew another one. Kansas City, Harrison Butker kicks a 51-yarder at the end of the game as the buzzer sounds. Kansas City beats Cincinnati 26-25 to win it. Cincinnati is 0-2. Kansas City is 2-0. There was a 4th and 16 situation. There was Mahomes throws a pass. Defender called for pass interference. He did get there early, but he was going for the ball. That is his ball every bit as much as it is the wide receiver ball. Not only that, but on the same play, 2 defensive linemen for Cincinnati were being held. So at the very least, there was no call on that. At the very least, it's offsetting penalties and you replay the down. Instead, there was only 1 foul of 3 fouls called. It happened to be on Cincinnati, and they kick a game-winning field goal and win it. So that game marred by the officiating. Cincinnati looks like that was a get-right game for them. I mean, Cincinnati looks like they're going to be in the thick of things all season long. I was very impressed with Cincinnati.
Cincinnati deserved to win that game, and they were robbed, like point-blank period. Look, you can talk all you want to about, well, they shouldn't have been in a position to have Harrison Butker be able to have a chance and da-da-da-da. Simply put, you can't make that call, especially when you got 2 other fouls happening on the opposite team as well. Like, you saw those 2 holds. I saw it live. Like, I legitimately was looking live. I'm like, I guarantee they hold on this play, and they're going to let it go. I didn't even see the play down the field, but this is what it is. Like, there are always going to be teams that get that nod, and it sucks. You know, you look at Zach. What's Cincinnati's head coach's name? Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor.
You see Zach Taylor's face, it says it all at the end of the game. He's like, man, we did everything. We're right there. You look at the players. You look at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was at the podium. He didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Like, Joe Burrow looked like every, high school bad guy, like a 2000s movie with the blonde hair. And
he does.
But he didn't know what to say. So you wish they could have got that win. But the Patriots got this type of treatment when they were good for years. The 49ers in the 80s got this type of treatment. You look at the Denver Broncos. When you put yourself in a position to win multiple championships, you get these calls. Is it fair? Hell no. Hell no. But we know what it is. So it's like, what can we do?
What do you make of Caleb Williams through 2 games? Another rough outing yesterday, Braylon. They lose. The Chicago Bears lose on the road at Houston. No easy place to play by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But again, the offense looks rough. He looked rough. A couple of picks in that game, and just really couldn't get anything going at all.
He played one of the better defensive coaches in the NFL, one of the best D coordinators in the NFL, and one of the best defenses. I mean, Will Anderson Jr. is the guy we wanted here. Like, let's make no bones about it. It's the guy that we want to hear in Will Anderson Jr. The defense is good, so you got to tip your cap to him. But Caleb Williams, I mean, it's not looking like a thing. It's not looking like the number one overall experience, what we wanted to see, what we thought we were going to see. He's looking a little college-ish.
A lot college-ish.
A little bit immature for the role, if you will. But with that said, they got to figure it out as well. It's all new to them. If we're going to give the Lions a pass for looking just average in week 2, same with the Bears, but it's looking a lot different.
Well, I disagree with that a little bit because we've seen the Lions make it to the NFC Championship game. You know, we don't know much about Caleb Williams or what he's going to be. He looks like there's moments out there where he looks like subhuman, like, oh, okay, I see it. And then, one of the things with these guys, Braylon, that are so athletic, they can't get away with it in the NFL. The same stuff they can get away with in college. At one point last night, Chris Collinsworth was like, "See that play right there, Mike? You see that play right there, Mike?
Best scramble of the year."
That was a 70-yard touchdown pass in college football.
Instead,
it's a 2-yard gain in the NFL, or an incomplete pass, or whatever he said at the time. You know, but that's just what it is.
Yeah.
This is true, but once again, I understand the Lions went to the NFC Championship last year, but what have you done for me lately? If that's the case, then they should look even better in week 1 and week 2 than Caleb Williams, and they haven't. With Caleb Williams, he's a rookie. You got his number 1 wide receiver in my eyes, Keenan Allen. Guess what? Just like Keenan Allen does, he's hurt. So a guy that he's practiced with, you saw who was giving him all the coaching on the sidelines, Keenan Allen. They already had a relationship. They kind of pre-existed this. So that's his guy. That's his comfort blanket. He's out. So he's trying to figure out a new offense, new weapons, new pieces. Yeah, their defense has been their catalyst, and luckily he has that defense. I give him a little time, but I will agree with you. It does not look anything special. It does not look like what they promised me. It just looks like another number 1 quarterback trying to find his feet in the NFL.
Play in the fourth quarter where it was a back shoulder throw to DJ Moore. It was like a 20-yard pass route, and it completely was the pass was completely misthrown, and you could just see the look even through the face mask of DJ Moore's frustration, not just because it was the fourth quarter and they were trying to win the game, but it just looked like if you had any questions about where Caleb Williams and this team is, DJ Moore's face there on that back shoulder throw that failed answered every question that you have. He's got the growing pains, just like you said, Bray. I totally agree with everything you said, but you could see that frustration. DJ Moore and Caleb Williams have a lot more work to do.
Pete, I appreciate that. I'm going to send it right to you, KG, with this thought right here. I want to piggyback off of what you said.
Sure.
Ryan, before the season started, we talked about what the players have said on their team. Jamal Johnson talked about the
Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson talked about the fingernail polish, talked about all the extra stuff. And we asked, what's that going to look like when the season starts? What is the locker room going to look like? It hasn't necessarily been a thing. This is something new. How would they respond to that? And we said, if you're winning games, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter about the fingernail polish. It doesn't matter what you want to see and what you want to wear. But to Pete's point, you look at DJ Moore on that bench, and he's sitting there, and I saw the one where they were sitting next to each other, and they weren't even looking at each other.
Right.
DJ Moore looked so frustrated. When you're doing all the extra stuff, when you're doing all the extra things, and you look like you do on Sunday, see, now you got quicker response from these guys. Now guys are like, all right, here we go. Like, we told you so. Like, he better figure it out, and he better stop painting his nails, because the two can't mutually exist forever.
What is that like, Braylon, in the locker room when you have a player that is universally lauded as this next great thing, and he gets so much positive energy and so much love from the outside world? Oh, this is the next insert name here. This is the next. This guy's so great. He's the best number 1 pick since Peyton Manning. Or everybody's talking so positively about him. But when you get to the field and that's not the guy that you were sold on as a wide receiver, what does that mean for you? How frustrating can that be?
It depends on what the level of frustration is, man. Like, if I'm working with the guy and working with the quarterback, we're working together. We're doing the things after practice, before practice. We're working on watching the film, breaking it down together. And it just can't happen. Then I'm like, well, look, y'all spent your money in the wrong department, or you went out and got the wrong guy. But if you work with a guy, Ryan, and you know that the guy has that potential, he has that talent, you see the throws that he's making in practice, you see how he breaks down film, and it's something to do with the offense just not clicking yet, whether it's the offensive coordinator, whether it's the system, then that's when you just you keep him positive. You keep his mind right. Say, hey, look, no, we got this. We'll figure this thing out. Coach will come with the game plan, or we'll see what the issue is, or get DeAndre Swift more involved. But that's when you know it's the system versus the guy. Right now, I don't know. It looks like the guy.
All right, guys. More NFL. We'll get some college as well. Our college, a bulk of the college conversation is going to come tomorrow as well. You know, if you're just getting with us, we believe that Monday is a huge NFL day.
Quick thought.
Yeah.
Last year, I think we saw the mold, like C.J. Stroud. Now, obviously, he had the best year ever. But if he's supposed to come in and be the transitional quarterback, then he's got to be somewhere along those lines. You've had 2 weeks. It should look. You should see something that kind of resembles what C.J. Stroud did last year, especially considering the talent C.J. Stroud had versus the talent that you had. I haven't seen that moment yet. I haven't seen that sustained drive, or I haven't seen a couple 3, 4, 5 plays put together like I did last year, and I think that is worrisome.
Can you imagine C.J. Stroud? Would you just like pray every night and thank the Lord and Savior that you are not in Carolina, that you were not the number one overall?
I'm telling you, that situation is bad.
Because again,
it's
look,
toxic.
because again, C.J. Stroud looks like this transformational player in Houston. No offense, but C.J. Stroud would probably look just about as bad, if maybe a little bit better
Did you see
than
that
Bryce
throw
Young.
C.J. Stroud had on the sideline?
He can throw. He can sling it, man.
Maybe
it's
he'd look a little bit better if he
play.
was in Carolina, but probably not much.
Yeah, not when Adam Thielen is your leading receiver the first year. Like, come on now.
I got to get a break in here, guys. More NFL coming up next. But first, a message from. I'm going to show you something that made me cry over the weekend too. But now, go ahead.
All right, and then you follow me, Rye Guy. Hey, everybody. What a shocker. Woodward Sports having me do a coffee read. What a surprise. Fuel your Lions fandom with the perfect cup and become a subscriber of Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Whether you're getting up for a big game or savoring a quiet morning, Sabbath Coffee Roasters has you covered with fresh, locally roasted specialty coffee delivered right to your door. Head to www.sabbathcoffeeroasters.com. Choose your favorite roast. Use code word Woodward and get up to 25% off your first subscription order. Awake and unwind, support your local, and enjoy game day right with Sabbath Coffee Roasters.
And don't forget about Sundays here on Woodward Sports. Sundays, stay right here, Woodward and Maine. Each and every Sunday, game day, wake up with Woodward and Maine, your source for the insider information. Matt Broder, Terry Foster, Woodward and Maine, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller, your local long drink, Sabbath Coffee, and Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. And don't forget about the New Holland Brewing Company Lions pregame show. It's the New Holland Brewing Company pregame show every Sunday. Neil Rule, Sean Belegian bring you the best Lions pregame show, 10 a.m. to noon. Woodward Sports Network. Home games live at Second Best Bar, then back here on road games this week. It'll be back here in studio. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Again, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller, your local long drink, Sabbath Coffee, and Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
How would you like to play with a legend like Darren McCarty, Kirk Gibson, Calvin Johnson, or Woodward Sports' best receiver, Braylon Edwards? It is the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Register today, and you can play like a VIP. The golf season is almost over, y'all. You know it's fall. It's getting cold. Go to woodwardsports.com, scan the QR code on the screen, and when it comes to your next car or truck, make the wise decision. It is Randy Wise Automotive. And also make a wise decision on your sports wearables, man. Go to woodwardsports.com and click that shop tab. We got all the swag that you need. Do not give up on them Lions. We got plenty of Lions gear. The Tigers are making a run. Make sure you get that gear too, but only if you go to woodwardsports.com and click that shop tab.
Guys, I want to get to the Tigers and I want to get back to the NFL, but you got something here, Braylon? I was gonna
ask a question.
Okay, go ahead. Ask your question.
Which turtle movies is better, part 1 and part 2?
Which what?
Ninja Turtles movies is better.
You know, I wasn't a big Ninja Turtle fan. My kid, my little guy Luke, he loves Ninja Turtle, man.
Good for him.
I went to see the latest Ninja Turtle movie. What was it, last year?
Yeah, cartoon.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Yeah.
I got to say 1 by default because I can't even remember part 2.
Yeah, I'll say 1 by default too, Bray.
Man, with Vanilla Ice, man.
Yeah,
Ice baby.
I'm so old. I saw the original one in the theater.
I did too. I did too.
Hey, Braylon, before I get back to the NFL and talk a little bit of Tigers, I do want your take on Michigan. They beat Arkansas State over the weekend, 28-18. It wasn't as close as that score indicated. I think they separated themselves a little bit. They just didn't look good. They just don't look good, man. It is what it is. I'm not even frustrated by it. I just kind of I'm going to the game this week. Alex Orji was announced as a starting quarterback today. Davis Warren is going to the bench. And again, I'm not even sure what to expect. If you can't throw it anyway, put the runner in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If Davis Warren can't throw it either, put the runner in. Put the guy that runs it in. And that's exactly what they're doing. So, I don't know. What do you make of Michigan?
Yeah, that's what I think of Michigan. Look at that middle parlay. It cost me my parlay.
Why is you betting on them right now?
What are you betting on Michigan for?
Yeah.
Everybody else.
I told you.
Right now?
I had them a couple against Arkansas State. I thought this would be a big comeback game for them. I thought they would get the offense going in this game. I thought they would feature Colston Loveland a little bit. I knew Mullins would be able to run the ball. This is what I was thinking. I stand firm on what I said, and maybe even less than that. It's just not a good ball club on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Too young at the offensive line right now. It can't get any push at the point of attack. Outside of Mullins, they're struggling, man, for anything on offense. Defense even is allowing teams to move on them, score touchdowns on them. So this is a tough one, man. It's going to be what it is. I said that 4 was the ceiling for me this year, and I may not make it to 4.
Jesus, 4 losses you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say 4 wins. Damn.
No, I said 4 losses.
Well, no, I was actually at the Michigan game this Saturday. Shout out to Mike G in the chat for providing those tickets for me. Had a great time, but this was a blowout that didn't really feel like a blowout. It was a struggle the whole time. If you're Michigan, Davis Warren cannot start for your team again.
Ever. Again.
Some of the decisions he was making is just like, what are you doing? And then you're in a situation where you have 2 quarterbacks that you don't trust to throw the ball, because Alex Orji, he got in the game. He did have a touchdown, at the goal line. That was great. But overall, it was all run plays, and it wasn't anything creative. There's nothing stylish about this offense. There's no rhythm. You don't really have that big X wide receiver. You have a whole bunch of smaller dudes. You're not making any plays, and it's affecting the defense negatively now. So I just don't know what the answer is. You are really staring maybe 7 wins this season in the face.
I don't want to be totally negative, but it is what it is. And who's the offensive coordinator? Like, who is Kirk Campbell? Who is Kirk Campbell?
Yeah.
Like, we've been having this conversation. At least we know who Ben Johnson is.
Right.
They got to figure it out and get to it. But who is Kirk Campbell? What
No
is the
creativity
identity of Kirk Campbell? Because if he came in and he didn't adopt,
dude, the entire staff though. I mean, look at, no offense to Wink Martindale, but this defense was supposed to be your backbone.
Right. Exactly.
Does this defense look? I mean, look at what Jesse Minter is doing in LA for the Chargers. Look at what Mike McDonald is doing in Seattle with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
You see that Seattle Seahawks defense?
Yes.
Oh, Seahawks are being benefited by Connor Stallions, though, and so are the Chargers, by the way. But you see what these guys are doing with the league?
Yeah, 100%.
Mike McDonald, Jesse Minter, Jim Harbaugh.
It just seemed like Wink Martindale might be a one-trick pony. He's going to show you the blitz a lot, and, he's moving Mason Graham around, putting him on the edge when he really doesn't need to be on the edge. This defense, I do agree. Wink Martindale, he's doing way too much with this defense when you have all that type of talent.
It looks the opposite way. You look at the young guys, the guys that came in, Jesse Minter, McDonald. They hadn't had NFL coaching jobs yet in terms of being coordinators. They were position coaches. Now they come here, they get some skin underneath them, and then they go to the league and have success. Wink Martindale is a guy that was in the league already, who's had some success. Who's been in that league and got let go to come to this level. So now you start asking questions like, why did the Giants let you go?
Right.
Because the Giants have a really good defense, at least good defensive players. Kayvon Thibodeau, Lawrence. What happened with that? Why were you allowed to now come and take a college coach in Michigan? So you're starting to look at all the things right now.
Yeah. I do feel like, and I hate to say this, and I told myself I wasn't going to say it today, but I'm going to say it because I do feel like Sharon Moore is in over his head a little bit. I absolutely do. And again, when you talk about younger coaches in the NFL, chances are when you're in the NFL and you're a coach in your late 30s, early 40s, you have a general manager, you have a team president, you have like this organizational structure about you to kind of let you focus on coaching football. And I think in college it's completely different. You are the head coach. You are the general manager. You are the team president. You are all of those things rolled up into one, and I think it's extremely difficult to cut your teeth for the first time at Michigan. There's no like, let me go make my mistakes at Central Michigan or Toledo or Grand Valley State or anywhere else or Arkansas State. Butch Jones. We know Butch Jones around here. It's a much different thing, and I don't want to believe this, but I totally believe Sharon Moore is in over his. It doesn't mean he's not a good football coach. It doesn't mean he won't be a good football coach one day. It's like getting your in television, okay, in radio, in whatever, chances are you start in smaller markets before you get to the big leagues. It's like somebody that comes out of college that just gets the number one anchor job in New York. It almost never happens because you're not prepared for it. And I don't know at 38 if you are prepared. Excuse me. I don't know at 38 without any head coaching experience whatsoever that you're fully prepared for it. And we can talk more about that tomorrow. I just wanted to put that out there today. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. I got to get a break in. Tigers, more NFL, all that stuff. We'll do that next. But first, a message from...
That's right. It is the post-game show. Sticking Hansen. When the lane is over, all you do is you tune into Woodward Sports Network and they get it going. You can jump into the chat. You can jump on the lines. They can get you involved because we want you to be a part of your team as well. Sticking Hansen do a heck of a job. And he did it yesterday. Look, some games are tough. You lose yesterday, but you got to be able to talk about the hard things. And this is what you can do. New Holland Brewing post-game show. Sticking Hansen. You got to tune in. Best show, most watches each week. You got to turn in. It's for a reason.
And right now, more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed, and Swiss Insurance will make sure that your carrier is not slipping in those extra fees. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698, or visit SwissINS.com. We're coming right back.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
To any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Want to know where the best pregame Lions party is going to be on September 30th? You can join us now at Detroit's very own Second Best Bar. Located at 42 Watson Street for the ultimate fan experience. Enjoy some smooth Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey while catching the Woodward Sports pregame show only at the Second Best Bar. Come get some.
And let me tell you about KDK Law. Dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, other family law issues. Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. 10-plus years of experience, 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code above my head right now, or you can call 248-971-0476, 971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you, and KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back. You know, it's just funny. We were just talking about Michigan and Jim Harbaugh leaving and Sharon Moore potentially in over his head. I just, for the second straight week, I tweeted this with a quote tweeted this with a crying emoji. Gentlemen, this is Jim Harbaugh after the game with the Chargers 2-0. Look how much fun he's having.
That was a great win. That was a great effort by everybody. Next week, we go to the Berg, all right? So, we got time for that. 6 hours from now, I'll be thinking about that. I will not think about that for another 6 hours. What hell of a job, so proud of you. That's how you take care of business. That's how you take care of business, sir. One play at a time. Hell of a job. Let's get a game ball. Deion Henley.
I just want to say I appreciate you boys for keeping me prepared throughout the week. And I couldn't do anything I did out there without my defensive line, my defensive back. We all stay connected. We all communicated. Yes, so let's keep it going. Yes,
Game ball. Elijah Murray. I want to say one thing. That was a great job. Great interception. Joe Ortiz game ball. We're fighting. We'll get the blood apart. Chad, get up here. Chad. Whoever found this guy. Hey, get up here and get a game ball.
I thank God for bringing me to you guys. This is a special group. I'm just having fun. I don't know about y'all. I'm having fun out there. Yeah, so.
Appreciate y'all, boys. Shoot, another week, another great opportunity. Win. Shoot, at this point, not too many people in the league. 2-0. We one of the ones. So put one foot in front of the other. Keep going.
Who's got it better than us?
Just so beautiful.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Just so beautiful. Just can't believe it.
He's done it his way.
So beautiful.
Early return say he's done it his way again.
He's so great, man. He's going to win a Super Bowl there.
Sooner than we think, too.
One NFL story before I get to the Tigers.
Yeah.
John Harbaugh, Baltimore, 0-2. They've lost 3 straight games dating back to the AFC Championship game a year ago. By the way, if you didn't see the end of the game yesterday, Lamar Jackson, final play of the game, looked like he was one juke away from getting into the end zone. And then all of a sudden he went backwards. Yep. He had one guy to beat, and he would have beat him.
Totally.
It was like a Hail Mary run instead of a Hail Mary pass. But
for us video gamers, he hit the L1 button when playing Madden. He did the lateral. He could have easily outran that last defender. I do not understand it, but something's up in Baltimore, man. They just cannot seem to get it together, especially offensively, man.
But again, for the second straight week, a majority of people, if you survived last week when Cincinnati lost, most people picked Baltimore this week in their survivor pools.
Yeah.
And the Raiders, down by 10 points with 12 minutes to go in the game, on the road against Baltimore, lose.
Minshew Mania yet again. That's the second straight year, I believe.
It is wild, man. It is wild. These survivor pools, if you're in one, now it gets interesting for sure if you're still alive. If you're not, my goodness. Guys, Tigers. Pete, you nailed it, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.
The Tigers took 2 of 3 from Baltimore. They won Friday and Sunday, lost on Saturday. That's exactly as you said.
Yes, sir.
The Tigers are 2.5 games out of the wild card, 2.5 games behind Minnesota. It's essentially a 3.5 game lead because Minnesota owns the tiebreaker. Really interesting, though, The Tigers are 5 games back of the Kansas City Royals. They just so happen to be in Kansas City for 3 games beginning tonight.
Yep.
There is still no starter listed for the Tigers. Seth Lugo goes for the Kansas City Royals. What an incredible kind of run the Tigers are on. Best team in baseball since August 1st. Among the best since July 1st. This is a team that's really exciting, and you hope if you spend a couple of dollars, and I'm not saying they're not going to make it this year. It's just an extremely tall task. You've got to win 2 of 3. You've got to, at minimum, win 2 of 3 because Minnesota plays Cleveland. Cleveland's still trying to hang on for the division against Kansas City. Boy, it would be nice. And that series is in Cleveland. So Cleveland, boy, wouldn't it be nice if they could sweep Minnesota?
Yeah.
Cleveland has a 4-game lead on the Royals, so they're trying to clinch that thing. But what a run these Tigers have been on.
Yeah, and you got to think the Royals series, that's got to be a must-sweep, right? Because you go back and see Baltimore right after that. So, yeah, this is a tough stretch, man. We all knew that they had a tough hole to dig out of, but shout out to the resilience of this team, man. Kiter Montero, what he put together last night. You had Riley Green with the 2 homers, man. This Tiger team, they are just finding ways to win. And, you know, no offense to Maz, when he called that trade, you know, back at the trade deadline in F, I didn't necessarily agree with it, but you're kind of starting to see the results of why. It was a sell, but it was also a buy at the same time because you're starting to yield results from some of this young talent, and you're seeing what your core pieces of this team could look like going forward. And to your point, Ryan, if they put a little bit of money, and I can't stress the little bit part enough, if you put $20 million to this team. $20 million. This looks like a whole different roster next year, man. So I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this off. I'm rooting for them, but I just love that I'm seeing relevant baseball.
It's exciting
at this time of the year.
Absolutely.
Ryan, I want to, if you don't mind, can I ask you a question that we were asking everybody yesterday? If you could take yourself back to yesterday before the Lions game was going to be played. Tigers were playing at the same time. You have a choice. You can only go to one. What was the most important game? Again, put yourself into yesterday. What's the most important game that took place on Sunday? The Lions week 2, because, you know, the NFL regular season is building towards the playoffs. It's not like a regular season in big sports. Tigers had 13 games to go as of yesterday, 2.5 games behind them. Which game do you go to?
I'd have gone to the Lions game. I understand your point because as that game was going on, I was going to tweet out, you can only win one game today. Tigers or Lions, what would it be?
Right.
What would it be? If you could choose one game, Lions or Tigers, which one would it be? And it just feels like the Tigers are in it, but they're not really in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's like
there's 12 games to go. They're 4 back.
It's like an apparition.
Right. They're 2.5 games out of the wild card, but they're 3 games in the loss column. Their 3 games in the loss column is really a 4-game lead Minnesota has. So if you think, like, I understand this is fun and everything, and I hope to God I'm wrong about this, but a 4-game lead with 12 to play is real hard to screw up.
Yeah.
If you're the Minnesota Twins, a 4-game lead on Detroit with 12 games to play is very, very difficult to screw up.
And the Twins are trying their best to screw it up.
And it just, the Tigers have the White Sox at the end of the year. I understand that.
Yeah.
But at Kansas City, at Baltimore, for the next 6 games, what's the best case scenario? 4-2?
4-2.
You would hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. 4-2. So if Minnesota goes 2-4, you're picking up 2.
Yeah.
So that, you know what I mean? Then you got to pick up 2 more with 6 to play, which is possible, but not probable. I'm just thinking, my lucky stars, that these are competitive, fun games to be a part of. You see a little bit of a young core that's coming together. Minnesota has Miami left. They've got Cleveland, Boston, Miami, and Baltimore. So they do have a tough road ahead.
Yeah.
But, not impossible, but improbable. All right, couple minutes left here, Pete. What do you got tonight? You've got Monday Night Football. Atlanta is a 5.5-point underdog at Philadelphia.
Wow.
Philadelphia is Philadelphia is going to be without A.J. Brown tonight. Maz says, and I think I can say this for him, Maz says, if you have lost all your money this weekend on the NFL, play Atlanta tonight. Atlanta plus the 5.5.
Yeah.
And you might want to look for a 6 if you see a 6 out there. Maybe buy something up to 6. Atlanta plus 5.5 right now. Get it to 6 if you can. He says that is a get-right spot. Those were his words, not mine.
Yeah,
that's correct.
It could be, man. I mean, the Eagles offensively, they do still have some things to figure out, but Saquon Barkley has been an absolute beast for this team. And when you look at how Atlanta came out last week, kind of flat, they still have some things to figure out on that offense, man. Kirk Cousins did not look good. So, I mean, it is possible they can keep this, within a touchdown, but me personally, I don't see it, but I'm not mad at the bet at all because 5.5 is a trap number. We know that.
Well, I tell you what, guys, let's get the bet out there right now for everybody from Monday Night Football. But before I do that, make sure you scan that QR code above my head and sign up with Caesars Sportsbook. Use the promo code Woodward1000 and you can get your first bet back up to $1,000 as a bonus bet. Here is the Monday Night Football bet for tonight. 4-leg parlay at plus 750. I think Saquon Barkley will be scoring a touchdown tonight. And by the way, in 2 career games for Saquon Barkley against Atlanta, he has scored 1 touchdown every game. So let's go with what works.
Okay.
Also, if he's going to score a touchdown, he's going to be getting the workload. I'm going to go with 100 yards and over tonight, total 100 yards and over for both, combined with rushing and receiving for Saquon Barkley.
I like it.
Also, another workhorse on the Atlanta side, Bijan Robinson. I'm not going to predict he's going to get in the end zone, but I think that he's going to be good for a workload. 100 yards and over for both rushing and receiving. And just for Maz, Jake Elliott over 1.5 field goals tonight, and he's usually good for 2. So there you go, Ryan. At plus 750, I have bet $20 to win $150.
All right, there you go. So have fun tonight. Play responsibly. That'll be it for us. For Braylon, Maz, KG, and Pete, we are going to get out of here. We'll see you tomorrow, Woodward Sports Network.